All right. Let's do this review for BDI. Yeah, for BDI, you did some Skullwoods and Ice. It's only 10 minutes, and I don't want to keep it short tonight. I will definitely do Mr. Gab tomorrow, at least 2, 3 sections. I promise I will do that. Let's take a look. I'm unfortunately too lazy to move the camera, so you're going to be looking at the left side of my face a good amount. Let's see what we got. Perfect. Don't do anything, change anything. You want to work on a slash dash, go ahead, but honestly, it's only going to save like 5 frames, so we good. I'm good with this. This is well into sub 90. Yep, dash along the tree line. Perfect. If you wanted to, you could have been a little bit more left. Not a big deal. I actually do like to menu to mirror at that exact same spot, too. You can be like a step away. You don't have to go all the way over to him. Let's see how well this works. I'll show you where you can talk to him if you wanted to. But basically, I kind of try to line up like immediately on where the rock where I just picked up was. I don't know. I feel like this is not a hard thing to get, but you can experiment with if you want. So like right here, like if you just throw the rock and talk, you can just talk to him here. You will get to him. So I don't know. It's a small thing, but I think it's an easy small thing to fix. Good dash. You're gonna nudge here. You saw that? Did you see how you nudged there? You went a little too far to the right. So there's a nudge right here. So if you want to lean a little bit more to the left, you won't nudge on that. Mirror immediately. Good. Hold up out of this mirror. And you can kind of like, oh, good, you did that. See how he buffered the up and you have to walk up anyway? Okay, I don't like that dash. I think you realized that was a mistake afterwards. Yeah, just pump up these stairs. You don't want to dash. If you're going to dash, then you might as well dash up to the door and then cancel here, just to put that out there. But yeah, just pump up those. Remember what you're doing. You actually want to hold left, as crazy as it seems. Holding left actually gives you a free frame of the 2 pixel of pushing out of the up. So holding left is good, but unfortunately, you got a little dust, so it's all right. You remembered what you were supposed to do after the fact. No biggie. Held up, perfect. Dashed, good. You can mash A and B with this. Looks like you were doing that. Ooh, you even did a dash turn instead of holding down. That's cool. Yep, dash down, perfect. Yep. I've only had really small things to nitpick. So far, this has honestly been very clean. Pump up there. Looks like you got a little stair drag there. Professional. Hold down into an A. Hey, I got nothing to review right now. This is looking good. You want spin speed to save 10 frames? Go for it. If you don't want to do that, just dash down and dash left. It's only 10 frames difference. Do we go for the fence dash? We do, but we're going to bonk, aren't we? That was it? What? Wait a second. Let me look at that again. Wow. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't think you hit it. So, shut up, coin. All right. Here's a good one I could teach you. When you cancel right here, this is a flip heel special. Cancel this with an up left to be off the grid. You canceled with the left and you accidentally hit it. Now, of course, you could, if you wanted to, just get one more step to go up to line up with the bushes. But if you cancel with an up left, you get off the grid. And if you accidentally are a little bit on one side of the bushes, you can kind of nudge the bushes. But because you cancel with the left, you can hit this head on. So basically what I'm saying is cancel this up with an up left. So that way you're on the top row of bushes and you will possibly nudge the bottom or go through. So that's a good flip heel technique. I'll give flip heel credit for that. All right, I think that's the first real mistake I can give you a small little bit of criticism about. I want to see that room again. Yeah, that's fine. There's probably a few frames you could have sweated over some pumping, but I don't care about that. We walked this good. Yeah, that was perfect lineup. How we do with this? Oh, we got it. Yep, you waited. If you wanted to hold up a little bit, but that was the RNG we want to wait on this throwing. Yep. See how he is along the second bush here? Boop, 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 boop. This is the one you have to wait. You can't just immediately dash turn up here. You're going to get met by this spear. So BDI did the correct thing in waiting. If you wanted to, you could actually kind of like walk to here and then start dashing. I think you could have saved a little bit of time instead of just waiting right here. But that's a small thing. At least you recognized it was the RNG you had to wait, and you waited. So that I'm happy about. Unfortunate that you had to deal with that, but all good. So overall, like honestly, 4.8 out of 5. Like this is sub 30 Schoolwoods Overworld. So let's look at some Schoolwoods. Yeah, this to me is Schoolwoods right now, by the way. Okay. I think you're doing what I suggested of canceling with up. You could have definitely done it around here. You were just a little tile hider. Yeah, you did it like right here. If you wanted to be, you kind of lost half of these frames because you weren't dashing. And I usually cancel my up or right around here, and then I hold up to walk and dash turn. And the reason, for those that don't know, we're doing this is because we're running past this pit right here, putting us in pit state. So when we press up, boop, 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 right here, it cancels our dash and we continue walking upwards. And my suggestion is just to do it right here and cancel it there. And then you'll just walk up to the spot and then you'll dash turn right. Just like that. Perfect. Yep. Perfect. All right. Hardest room in the game in the split. Let's see it. That was perfect. That was absolutely perfect. Let's break down exactly what was great about this. We got 2 of them. We threw the pot. We touched this carpet. If you wanted to, you could have maybe not gone as far down, but it's really not that big of a deal. We pull this and watch this. We do 3 long diagonals. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Look at these. So 1. So look where we're starting. Starting at the bottom of the statue. 1, 2, and then 3. And as you see, right when you're done pushing that statue, you will be at the top. And so the only thing you can say is if you had stopped here and pulled it back, you wouldn't have gotten stuck on this railing a little bit. See how you're going to move a little bit more to the left, and you're going to push against this railing here, and that's you're going to lose a few frames. But if you had recognized and stopped there, see watch here how you lose a few frames. 1. Is that really it? It's just 1? All right. I can't be too upset about that. But I did see the nudge. The goal is when you pull the statue, you want to be as lined up as you can between the railings. And I've seen much worse nudges than that. So don't sweat it. Honestly, the 3 long diagonals is my favorite part of that. Okay. We know to dash. So this is what I was talking about with Gab and popsicle sticks. You see how we dashed into him and then just held right? Perfect. Could you have dashed sooner than that? I think it was like a little stressful of a situation, so it wasn't that big of a deal. Well, let me just take a look at that again. I guess this guy was like kind of inching on you, so it was a little scary. So that's why you moved up. I guess if I were to make a suggestion here, is if you actually dashed into this guy, but you stayed on this lane, you then could have dash turned straight up instead of having to walk to the spot. I see that you're worried about this guy, and so that's why you moved up there, and that's fine. But I think that when you stay on this lane here, this bottom row, you're going to have a much better chance to get a full dash, and you don't have to do this walk. So small thing there. And then you would have probably beaten the spike too. Like that's honestly the biggest part is when you get this, you're actually probably already here at this point, and then you can kind of squeeze in. So that ends up kind of costing you just going around that spike. Okay, cool. Let's go get our fire rod, see how our bomb jump is. Actually, let's look at this. We dash here. All right. I will point this out. I don't think we talked about this a lot, but this is actually where I menu to bomb. I menu to bomb to make sure that I get this line up here. I can't exactly. So, oh, I pressed the wrong button. And what it allows me to do is stop right where I want on a dime, and then I hold right out of it to make sure that I get this dash. Now, you didn't have a problem. It's fine. But sometimes this Ropa can be really annoying. And sometimes he's here also. I think you respawned him for another reason, but I'll explain that in a moment. But this is my favorite place to menu to bomb. That way I can pause exactly on this exact lane to dash through him. So now let me explain something to you. This is position 1 and this is position 2. Let's go with that. That is where the Ropas can be. And the difference between those Ropas is whether you go high here. So you see how we are nudging this lane here? The bottom of this, this barrier here? This is what causes him to be in position run. If you go higher, just even a little bit, and you're dashing across here, then he'll be in position 2. He'll actually respawn. So that's why he appears where he does, which I'm told is easier. So you see how he kind of is down there? That is why, yeah, otherwise he would be up there. Wait a second. Did I say that reversed? Hold on a second. Maybe you're not high enough. Yeah, because he's down there. So maybe you didn't get the lowest part that I thought you were. But you nudged it there. Yeah, if what I said was correct initially. This position here, he'll be here if you will go too high, and he'll be down here if you nudge along the bottom of that lane. So what I said was correct. I had to second guess myself. But basically, he respawns here, and then when you start running down, he hops to this spot here, to position 2, which is supposed to be a little bit harder. But sorry, I kind of went into the weeds and then got into the spots. But short answer is, if you're on the lower end of making that right dash, then he'll be exactly where BDI has him in this spot. If you go higher than that, he will respawn here, and then he'll be in this position here. And it might be a little bit scarier to get this dash. Okay. I said what I wanted to say with a little too many words, but that's okay. But I would say experiment with that bomb menu. I think it's very, very strong. Good. He faced right. That's what I wanted to check. Not only did he hit the bomb jump, but I highly recommend facing right before exploding. Because then, if there is any mold worms that are in the way here, you will be able to just slash them immediately. You don't have to press right to walk into them before you slash them. Huge gain. Absolutely 10 out of 10. Face right. Okay, we fall. Perfect. Walk through this guy. Good. A lot of people sometimes miss out on that. You get invincibility because you fell down through the hole. So you get to just walk through this Ropa for free every single time. Look, I'm still invincible and I'm already past him. But this is a free walkthrough. Okay. Top path, perfect. Yep. Absolutely perfect. Okay. Let's see. Do we menu to fire rod for this? I think we went over this, so I'm pretty sure you're getting that. All right. Unfortunately, you did it a little too early, so you got to cancel with the down left. Fine. It's okay. You just menued a little too early. Just to go over this room for anyone else watching. When you dash into this room, might be faster if I do it this way. You want to neutral dash from this. You don't want to be holding left. You want to stay on the grid so that way when you get past the spike and menu, you'll just be solid on that. So there is a grid that is like this. Boop, 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 boop. And this gives you a chance to be here. If you walk left a little bit, there is a chance you might end up here. And then you're going to walk straight up into the spike. So you want to stay on grid for this. It's kind of similar to Thieves Town when it comes to Hell's Hallway of wanting to stay on grid. This is the same thing. You want to hit this lane as straight as possible. So just unfortunately for BDI in this particular run, he just pressed paused a little too early. You have about 3, if I remember right. 3 frames or so where Link could be. Which isn't as terrible as it sounds. But that's why you pause. That's exactly why you menu to fire out here. It's like, okay, you have to react to the situation. Maybe practice reacting a little bit sooner. You kind of were in the pause a little bit too long when you're like, oh shit, what am I supposed to do? Just hold down left to cancel so that way you don't walk into the spike. And then just kind of do like a little curve, right? So you walk a little bit down left, and then you walk left, and then you walk back up. And you know what? I think once you realize the situation, you did it perfectly. Like you didn't have to deal with the hand or the beetle, so I'm good with that. If the beetle does get in the way, you do have permission to dash out of that. I mean, you would have thrown a pot anyway at him, so that's not a big deal. Okay, we can dash through this. I know this is not a room we went over. You can hold left out of this doorway and then just start dashing, and you're going to kill this guy. And you are going to get, you're going to have to stop because this little piece here is going to hit you. So you have to cancel your dash like right here. And then you're going to walk to this spot. So you're going to hold up left and then go to left. And then you're going to dash turn up after that. This guy's going to be a little bit scary when you do this, but I can promise you if you are clean with your movement, you won't have that problem. So let me just do the room one more time. Hold left coming out of the transition and then dash when you can. And you will kill this guy every single time. You're going to have to hold up left right here because this little nook is going to catch you. So you want to cancel your dash there. And then you want to walk to the left to dash turn right here up. This guy is going to be a little bit scary, but if you are clean, he will not get in your way. So it's a room we didn't go over, so all good. Okay, we're a little fancy here. I will be honest with you. This is a little challenging to fire out from the side. So I would encourage any mentees not to be going for this, but you see this little cheat that he does right here, this walk. This is why this saves a little bit of time by walking here. So he fire rods the left side and then he walks up. I encourage you to try it if you want to, but you don't have to do this. What I personally do, I haven't even really worked on this strat myself, is right around here, I kind of walk to this. I fire rod up and then I start my dash. And that way, once this animation of this thing exploding happens, I immediately start dashing up. And I mean it when I say this, that this strat of fire rodding from the side is only going to save you like 10 frames at most. But good for you, BDI, for going for it. Good. So we had unfortunately had the fire stake where he goes left and you immediately hid behind the block, which is perfect. Good job. Lined up with the block once more time, right? Where by nudging on this block, we're going to hit the key dash and you're through. We were right potters. Not bad. There was a little bit of hesitation here. I want to point this out because if you decide to go a little bit sweatier in the next room, it's going to matter to not mess this up. So if you decide to not do Joe mummies and do the one where you like dash at the mummy and do the double fire rod shots and the dash up on the right side, this might cause a problem for you if you have any slowness in this room. The hand timer starts when you enter this room. And so this little mishap will actually really cost you. So that's why I want to bring this up, because I know you like to go for some sweaty strats, and we'll see what you do in the next room. But I want to just mention to you that this room is very important when you're dealing with being faster than the hand in the next room. So what do we go for? Okay, so you just do Joe Mummies, so you're fine. I was referencing if you were doing the full shot dash to here, and then the downright cancel into 2 fire rod shots, and then the dash up. But it's pretty clear to me you're going along the left side. So if you're going along the left side, then you don't have to be as concerned about the hand. Nice. Perfect. If you wanted to, you could have been more centered on this torch when you moved over, but I mean, you cancel with an up left here, right? Yeah. Good. All right, let's see how we do with the mummy key. We're pretty high. Oh, unfortunate. I kind of noticed when we were high. So, if anything, this was probably your worst room. Other than, like, maybe the pot key, which is still a phenomenal school woods. You really crushed the hardest of rooms. But yes, unfortunately, you went a little too high here. And I think you really just want to be a little bit higher, like there. You just want to be like one higher than the lane. Right? Lane is about here. And unfortunately, you took 2 steps. What I have seen that can be helpful is, instead of doing what I've been teaching everyone to do, dash turns at the bottom, is actually to walk up to do a turn and then dash. So we're back to talking about being on grid and not being on grid. This is a very good place to not be on grid, because you want to be a little bit higher than the spike. So you turn up to take those 2 steps, and then you start dashing. And then you will be higher than this grid. The other option that you could do, if you don't like that, is you do your normal dash turn here, but you cancel with an upright. And you just have to do it a little bit lower. Obviously, still use the menu for the fire rod, but if you're on that grid of pausing here, you cancel with an upright to give yourself those 1 or 2 pixels high, and then you can slash this guy into the spike. I mean it when I say this. This is probably the room that cost you the most time. Everything else has been very, very solid. This is a very good school woods. This is sub 90 caliber easily. Needed to be a little bit higher on the double dash. All right, you cleared him out. You want to be like touching this block. So you had to move up just a little bit more. See, you're starting here. You needed to be like 2 pixels higher, 2 or 3 pixels higher, like almost touching. I'm sorry. I'm like squinting here. I actually think you are pretty good on where you are. I think I'd be a little bit higher just because the conveyor belt is pushing down. So I'd almost be touching the block on that purpose. But you definitely are inching your way up here. Oh no, you kind of... I can't tell. Well, unfortunately, the answer was you were too low. So maybe you did want to be higher so the conveyor belt pushed you down right on the spot that I'm referring to. Yeah, you see how you only got 1 hit there? You may have also pressed dash too late. It's really hard to tell. Let me just start the fight over again and watch it. I think it's because you were too low. I think that's what it was. I think you actually had the timing right. This was a very good hit, by the way. You caught him before he went to the corner, and then, yes, you tried to push. You pushed him against the block. So this one here, if you recognize he's going into this corner, you could do a sword poke in the corner, which is not something I taught you guys about. But I would have probably recognized that he was going into this spot and then I would have started my slash around here, and then I would have met him into this wall here with a sword poke, a dash poke. And the first poke would have hit him as a poke, and then the second would have been a dash poke, and hopefully would have killed him if I did it correctly. What you could do if you want is just, yeah, slash him here to push him out, and then you slash him again, which I have to give you credit. This was very close to hitting the spikes. Like this, yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm surprised the spikes actually didn't stop this hit. So good job on you on that. Yeah, that was a little tempting. I wonder if the block got involved there. Well, either way, very good Skullwoods overall. I nitpicked on a few rooms here and there, but I think you did a very good job with this. I do wish you had a timer to see if you indeed got like a low 5-3x. Maybe the mummy key is going to cost you in that fight maybe a couple seconds, but I think that's like a low 530. Good job. Very good job on that, Skullwoods. Okay, let's see some ice. Let's see if we can match it with an ice. We mirror immediately. We walk out and we just press Y. We're already on the quick warp. Perfect. Walk into it. Perfect. Okay, we listen. We heard the flute just beforehand. Set up the spooky. This is scary. Yes, this is why we don't do that. This is scary. Yeah, we are too far to the left, and this is exactly why you don't want to do this. This is known as the suicide dash. You really want to be on this lane. I mean, obviously, if you're on the rightmost lane, that's the safest you can be. But you really want to be on the inside one, because this guy, unfortunately, can aggro earlier as you're running this way, and he gets to this spot. And he easily could do this. It's an RNG thing of how aggro he is. And I have seen this happen 100 million times, and I'm letting you know, play this on the era of safe. Try to be like a tile and a half over. You are unfortunately very far to the left. So I'm hoping that you're just gonna like move down right, do a slash and kill the guy, and then choose the lane I told you about. Let's see what happens. But yeah, I have seen this unfortunately end a lot of runs because having beams for ice is pretty important. Okay. Oh, we still hit the quick warp though. That's sick. We moved to the right and hit the quick warp. Wow, that was pretty baller. Notice that we moved down also. So I'm glad to see we hit the quick warp. And you see how before we dashed right here, we took a step down. That's very good. This step down will allow us to cut the grass like this. If we are any higher than that, we're going to cut grass on the top lane, and we're going to get stuck in the grass below us, and it's going to be slower on our dash. So this was a very good walk down. You just got to hold down out of this. Oh, shoot. It didn't work like I wanted it to. Just hold down here. Yeah, you don't have to hold down right out of this. Like right here, I'm just holding straight down, and then I'm just going to dash right. So I think the down right like kind of goofed up and caused you to do a redash. It was good. It was good that you recognized you had a redash. You definitely would have bonked on this. So I'm glad you did that. Hold up. Perfect. Which one do we do here? We do a dash right, a dash up, and then we move to the right and dash up. Okay. Works for me. Pop. Done. We doing any safety strats here? No, we are going for the lottery. That guy can hit you like 3 out of 16 times. He can just bop you and you lose 2 hearts. If you wanted to, that's a dash. I think you were trying to dash and you made a mistake. It was good for you to continue walking once you realized you missed the dash. So that's completely fine. You're like, oh shoot, I was supposed to dash here and I missed it. Just hold up and walk to this spot and dash. Very good reaction to fix that. You can dash through this. This is a dash down. Yeah, that's going to save you some time. Like right here, just dash straight down. Your shield is facing to the left as you dash, so if the guy does shoot you, it's going to block it. So you don't have any concern about the guy shooting you. If the guy walks into your path, then you may have to stop if he's in this really weird spot where he doesn't get hit by your sword, but you like meet him here because your sword is right here. Then you might have to stop, but most of the time you're not going to have to. Sorry, I was trying to use the eraser. I wasn't trying to mark all over it. Dash turn right, up, perfect. All right. If you wanted to, you can grab a heart here. You did take a hit from the guard, so that has a chance of dropping a 50-50 heart if you wanted to pick this up. And what you do is you actually bring that all the way over to Catfish, because when you quick hop off of something holding an item, you actually get like that pit state speed as well when you're holding an item. But you also could get a 50-50 off that. Unfortunately, you didn't. Bonk. Perfect. Okay. You just hold up here. Good. So by bonking against this wall here, and then you do this bounce, you are putting yourself on a quick warp, as you can see right here. So you just have to walk to this spot here, and you will just mash L and R to cancel when you pick up the quake for the text box, and then you just spam Y as well. Oh, you weren't mashing L and R? It's okay. Not a big deal. Hold right and dash. Perfect. You dropped your sword because of the cutscene. Nice. All right, let's be a little sweaty here. Yeah. Let me look at this dash again. Something looked a little off about this. You could cancel to about here instead. You can walk up right at this spot. And then get this dash up. It's not terrible to stay on land. I just am a little concerned of this Zora if you're like a little bit late, that you're going to almost have to like walk around him. Like you didn't have to do it this time, but I'm a little worried about that. Good. See how you hit this line? This is a great place to up left because then you can just dash turn here. Perfect. Could have been a little bit further to right. Not a big deal. Maybe like 2 or 3 pixels. This is the hardest part in my opinion. You can go lower here. If you want to get more aggressive, there is definitely a line where you're a little bit more on the dark water and you want to hit this spot, and then you want to walk down to about here to get this dash. The less diagonals you do here, the better. So I guess I'll see what you do, but you really want to avoid diagonals as much on the water. So you really want to sweat this, as long as you don't fall into the dark water, of course. But you really want to try to be hitting these spots here. So let's see what you do. Let's clear this because this will be confusing with this is on the screen. See this diagonal? This is what I was worried about, which is a very common thing. See how you diagonaled all the way to that spot? You can definitely get to this spot from here. You may have to move a little bit right and down, but that is going to get you to this spot here. And the more and the less we diagonal, the better. So here's going to be one more diagonal I might have to call you out on. Yep. See? So again, we want to hit this spot here, and we want to make our way up to here. If you want to, you could do a little bit of pumping, like 2 or 3. But our goal is to get to this dash line here. So you should be trying to aim for that spot and that spot. You might be able to even go a little bit higher. You'd be surprised. This is really not an edge as much as it looks like. So definitely experiment with trying to go a little bit higher into that dark water. I got to have something to pick onto a little bit about. That's good. Maybe you could have gone 1 or 2 more pixels to the left, but that's fine. You're gonna grab the flippers. So we're good with that. Mash AB, looks like I see that. It's up to you if you wanna look at this. I time this pretty well where I mash AB and then once I get to this, I don't do the sword swing. So if you wanted to practice getting out of swimming and making sure that you're timing a dash out of this, you could save yourself a little bit. That's perfect. Yep, look. Look at us do this little Jesus walk here. Yep, that's exactly it. Perfect. That's what I wanted to look for. Yep, perfect. All right, do we do the new menu I told you about? Yes, I love this menu. What's great about this menu is we need to switch to Fire Rod, and we are checking to see if there's a Zora in our way. So, is there a Zora in our way? The answer is no. We're looking for this area here to see if there's a Zora. If there was a Zora in our way, we would be able to dash across this. There is a little lip of the water, so that's why it's important to stay right underneath this block. And then we go around the rocks on the other side, and then we don't have to deal with this Zora. If there is no Zora on the way, we just dash all the way to the bottom, and then we just do our normal thing. So I'll show you the path once we move a little bit more to the left, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. The fire rod's in the way. Okay, I think that's kind of the best I'm going to do. So when we're up this high, you see this right here where the water kind of goes up a little bit. That's what we're trying to avoid, and that's why we're dashing up here. So if a Zora is in this area, we're going to take this path instead. Sometimes you have to slash her. Experiment with that, depending on how close he is to the portal. You may have to slash to avoid a fireball, because a fireball might hit you when you hit the water. So definitely experiment with that. And then you can swim into the portal, obviously, from this side instead. It's slower to go left, but if you don't want to deal with the Zora, it's obviously a lot faster. One other thing I'll mention to you is Zoras are on the bomb pack on the 100% one. So if you are okay with taking the time of killing a Zora that's in your way, it's a free bomb. Especially if you're low on bombs and maybe you made a mistake somewhere else. It couldn't hurt to have an extra bomb if you're okay with losing a second and a half. All right, do we grab the rock from the left? Grabbing it from the left is the quick warp. Good. See, we're in a quick warp. Perfect. All right, let's see when we shoot the fire rod. That's pretty good. I'll be honest. You can really sweat this, where you can just shoot the fire rod from here and just hold up left, and just as he pops out, he explodes from the splash damage. But it doesn't seem to affect your movement too much, so I'm very happy with that. Yeah, you don't have beams. You got very lucky that it didn't bother you. I'm also glad you didn't go for that heart, because there's going to be a heart later. So, a little lucky that the blue jelly didn't spark, so we take those. If you have to fire rod, I'm okay with fire rodding. Right, I don't think there's anything too exciting in that room. We just hold up. Let's see this room. Perfect. What I always do in this room is I kind of do like a small pause out of this door, because I really want to make sure I clear these guys out where he hits here. So by having a little pause, holding down right out of the door is sometimes something I've seen Doomtap do to cause a pause. You really want to make sure you clear out those two guys that are like behind you. All right, here's room number 1 of the Gauntlet device. No. I'm glad that you recognized the situation and fixed it. But yes, unfortunately, you were too lined up with it, and you were like exactly. If you were 1 pixel to the left, it would have worked. It's very, very unfortunate. Sorry. That's all I could say is, you have about like 3 or 4 pixels to work with to the left of you, because the bomb is a pretty large explosion. And the only other thing I wanted to mention was I actually like to just ride this wall facing right. And right when I get to here, I place the bomb right about here, or maybe about here. And when I pause to switch the bomb here, I'm looking at this guy to see if he's gonna spark, and I'm looking at this. And when you see that this guy is sparking, I know I'm gonna have to slash him. So once I recognize this situation, my plan is to place a bomb here, slash him, pick up the bomb, and then walk to the spot you need to. That's a lot. You're this is definitely a room you have to have experience with, but I highly recommend that when you are doing this menu, you are looking at this top row to see where they are. I think you did that. I think you just was just the unfortunate thing that you missed the bomb throw. I will tell you that you have time to do one sword slash while a bomb is on the ground. So you could have placed the bomb before the sword slash of pushing this guy out of the way. Like right here, you could have. You know that he just sparked, so he's going to stop sparking now. I would have faced left, placed a bomb down, slashed. You see the second guy is not in your way at all. And after you slash the first guy, you're going to have a clear path to throw the bomb. So it's up to you if you want to get a little bit sweatier and placing the bomb earlier, or you just want to just slash, clear the path out of the way, and then place the bomb and make sure you hit it. You know, I will tell you, if you do the method where you're a little bit safer, there is a chance that the second guy, if he's in a much worse place, might walk to the right as you're lining up. So it'll slow you down from getting into position if you don't do the bomb slash method that I'm suggesting. So just be wary of that. Well, unfortunate. Now that we're going to be at 0 bombs, we're going to have to menu the bombs here, and of course pick up a bomb. If you wanted to experiment with this, you don't have to be that high. Really, you just pick up the bomb and you just place it exactly where the pod is when you picked it up. I'm okay with you grabbing both bombs. It's not a big deal. Okay, very unfortunate. You have to see that he's gonna do that, like here. So you see how you went into the lane? You want to do it on the spike, like here. And if you catch both of them, that's fine. But obviously, in the situation right now, you moved too far down, and then he went up. See? See how he's going up now? That's why you're missing this guy with the beam, because he is dodging you. He's like, oh no, I'm going to get hit. And he's running away from that beam. So just do it in line with the spikes. I know it's like a little dangerous, but it's got to be done right, like right around here. And you have to recognize whether the conveyor is going left or right when it comes to this. So that's why that happened, unfortunately. I like that you dashed this. I know it's a little risky that this guy, you didn't see whether he sparked or not, but I like that you were aggressive with this and you dashed there. Okay, got the slash right. This is what I always recommend. Sets up immediately for the whatchamacallit? the wiggle method. That's the lower pixel. We're good. Hammer dash. Yeah, perfect. I'm good with that. All right, let's see how the penguin lineup goes. What are we at right now? 43 minutes. Wow, I've been talking a long time. A little too slow. I think there's a lot of different setups for this. I think you actually went down a little too quickly. Yeah, you want to be like here. I think that this is the line I always try to hit before I diagonal. Now, I want to let you know there's multiple setups for this. There's not one and only that work for you. I know a lot of people like to, instead of doing it down left, they kind of do more of a downward motion. So that way, when they're doing the spin attack, which seems easier for them. But obviously, the issue, and that's kind of what happened to you, was that you ended up missing the top guy. But try to find a visual cue of when you want to be turning down left. And then right around here, I think, is when I'm doing the spin attack, which should be covering something like this. Something like that. That's definitely not to scale. But yeah, you definitely turned down too early. But if this is something that, this was a fluke and you're good usually with this, then don't worry about it too much. But it happens. I honestly do not like the room. I'm not very consistent at it, so I'm not upset at all. How do we do with this room? Okay. If you're good with that, I'm good with that. I could save you maybe a half a second with a different method that BDI taught me, but I don't think that was too big of a deal. If you want to, you can face down. As the block is moving, you can face down and then hold down right, and that makes the pot a little bit easier to pick up. I like to do that personally, but it's not that big of a deal. That was terrifying. You know you could accidentally hard lock yourself in this room, right? You can like screw up the block and then the door is closed, but the block is on the button. That was terrifying. If you are good with like a crazy 1 pixel movement of going through the block, then go for it. But I'm letting you know there is a way to like hard lock the room where you'd have to like go back up 2 rooms and then walk back down and fall down again. So be careful about that, please. Oh, this is very unfortunate that you have to slash this guy. I just want to show you that is the lowest pixel that you can push it from the right side to push it left if you wanted to sweat this statue. Just to let you know, this is perfect. See how it kind of makes a little happy face? Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, I meant that eye. Yeah, it makes a happy face. That's your goal. So you kind of pulled it up a little bit more. If you're just gonna go to the left, then don't worry about it. You have to if you're gonna go around the left, then you have to pull it this high. So that's fine. I didn't know if you were going to push it from this side because you didn't need the magic. So if you're gonna just do this every time, then don't worry about anything I said about a happy face. Unfortunate menu. It happens. Okay. Very important. I want to see that you held upright. If you don't do it, or just in general, hold upright. You will always face upwards, and then you will start to deal damage. Good. Ooh, you are like on the leftmost pixel here. I like it. Oh, what the heck? How did that not count? You slashed too early. You did the thing. You slashed too early. He was still invincible. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Just a couple things I wanted to bring up. This spin attack can be done earlier. And I want to warn you that, yeah, you could have done it like here, I think. Because you see how this hits him? Listen, obviously, this was not the reason why the fight went wrong. Everything about the sword poke and the spin attack against him was really good. I just want to encourage you to try to time this spin attack to be released a little bit earlier. It will give you more time if there's a mistake with the sword poke or if he decides to do a heavier aggro. So you hit this right, but if there was just like one small movement that was not very clean about the sword poke or about the spin attack, this could have gone really wrong. So this is always the main thing I encourage people to do is to try to find a timing for them that they release the spin attack as early as possible. So the end of the spin attack hits him into the top right corner. And that gives you like almost a half a second more to go into the position you want to for the sword poke. Yeah. You're just a little too early, just a little bit. Otherwise, you had it. Very unfortunate. But you clean it up really quickly. You lost maybe 2 seconds at most. I think overall you did very well. I think the biggest gripe I had was the bridge cost you a lot of time when you ran into the guard, and then the bombable floor because you were down. Oh wow, look at my choices here. Because of the misthrow of the bombable floor, and then obviously you had to like keep menuing back to bomb, which was unfortunate. But I think overall, 90% of your rooms are really solid. I think there were just like two or three rooms per split that I kind of was like, yeah, we can clean this up a little bit, or you made a mistake. You know what you're supposed to do, and I would highly recommend is just revisit those couple of rooms, and I think you're on your way. I think you did a great job. Yeah. So what did I say overall? I think you just the pot key and the key mummy. I think were the two main ones in Skull Woods that I think you should review. And then obviously maybe the room after the pot key, just show you that there's a dash into that ropa instead. And then for Ice Palace, definitely take a look at Zora's Domain. There's a good amount of time to save. Um, the bridge guard cost you, and then just maybe just experiment with that bombable floor room. Just really make sure that you feel comfortable trying to place both of the bombs where you want to, and try to mess around with a few of the RNGs of whether both red jellies get in your way or just one red jelly. Oh, and then the conveyor belt room, make sure that you're beaming him higher than what you were doing because he obviously dodged your beam. I don't think there was really any other rooms to come up with, so I think I summed up the few rooms I wanted you to go over. So honestly, you did a really good job. You definitely picked up on a lot of the rooms that we went over, and I think you did very well with reacting to a lot of bad RNGs. All right. Well, good luck in the next one, and I'm sure I'll talk to you on Sunday. Good night.